Good evening. Welcome to Loud Poets. Please clap your hands, stamp your feet, and make some noise for your host and compere, Kevin McLean.
Hello, and welcome to Loud Poets! Oh yeah, that is what I need on a Thursday night at the Fringe. How are we doing? We well? Oh, wonderful stuff. That is right, this is Loud Poets Best of Fringe. My name is Kevin McLean. I will be your host for this evening. Give me a little cheer if you've been to a spoken word show before. Down the front where you belong. I like it. Good. You guys in the splash zone. Nice. Give me a little cheer if you have never been to a spoken word show before. Timidly hiding at the back. Good. That sticks to form. Well done. Well, whether you have been to a million spoken word shows or this is your very first one, thank you very much for choosing to come along. Spoken word is the smallest section at the Edinburgh Fringe. It goes overlooked in a lot of ways, but we like to think it has the most to offer. When you come to a spoken word show, you get a little bit of everything. You get the comedy, you get the other stuff. Whatever, at Fringe there's only comedy, right? That's the way it goes. No, we kind of explore the whole range, but the aim of Loud Poets is to make that a fun night for you guys. So yeah, if this is your first poetry show, it might be a little different to ones you go to in the future, but I'm sure you will find your feet in no time, and the guys down the front will lead the way. Correct, front row? Follow the front row. I'm a little scared of the front row. Oh dear. Guys, this, like I said, is Loud Poets, and we have three fantastic poets for you this evening. It is going to be an amazing show. We have the wonderful Jenny Foulds, we have the Repeat Beat Poet, and we have Harry Baker. That is one hell of a lineup. Absolutely. And we are going to get them all on in turn to do an introduction piece for you, to welcome them to the stage. And I'm going to fuck about no longer. I am going to get them on. We are going to kick this off right now. I am so excited to have her back in Scotland. She is a former Scottish Slam champion. She runs Rebel Soapbox. She does so many incredible things. Please put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Jenny Foulds!
Yes! It's so lovely to be back at Loud Poets. I am going to kick off the proceedings with one called 1993. Some of you might not remember 1993, but I remember 1993. This is 1993. So it's 1993 and I'm 13 years old and my wall poster game is big and bold. I've got Johnny Depp looking handsome as fuck all the way from the 21 jump, and I've got River Phoenix, who's my main guy with his flawless face and his big blue eyes. Jurassic Park is in the flicks, those velociraptors with those tricksy tricks. Everyone. Nobody knows what to do then. Sleepless in Seattle and True Romance, Groundhog Day, Demolition Man, Mrs. Doubtfire and Wayne's World 2, Garth and Wayne, I love you. MTV was the thing to watch. Meatloaf was all like, I will do nothing but love. But there's no fucking way he'd do that. Cypress Hill's Brains Are Insane, Relight My Fire and Mr. Vane. The Cranberries are lingering and Counting Crows are singing about Mr. Jones. Tears for Fears and PM Dawn. Radiohead are getting their creep on. Naughty by Nature and the Wu-Tang Clan. Old Dirty Bastard and Method Man and Informer. You know, spin up a song, I gotta go blame. Lick it, boom, boom, down. Four Non-Blondes and Ace of Base. Crisscross are jumping all over the place. And if you want to call me baby, just go ahead now. Salt and Pepper were in the charts with Shoop. Shoop, shoopy doopy, like Scooby Dooby Doo. No YouTube. DVDs were new. We still had VHS and cassette tapes too, and the knowledge that the intrinsic relationship between a pencil and a cassette tape will be forever lost after our generation is utterly heartbreaking. Doc Marten boots and waistcoats too, high-waisted mum jeans and stonewashed blue. Saying not after everything you didn't mean was hilarious. Making plans on the house phone was precarious because we didn't have mobiles, we had pagers, yeah, and they were cutting edge, yeah. I'm just saying they don't make them like they used to. 1993 could well be the greatest year that has ever been. Thank you very much.
feel like my life just flashed before my eyes. This is terrifying. Thank you so much for that, Jenny. Incredible stuff. We are going to get our second poet on the stage. He is easily one of the hardest working people in all of poetry. He is one of my favorite poets and a bloody good pal as well. Please put your hands together and go absolutely wild for the Repeat Beat Poet!
Hey, how are we doing? Oh, I was enjoying every one of them references. That was fantastic. Thank you. I'm going to read a piece called For the Poets, which is for anybody who's ever written a poem at any stage, at any time. I don't care whether it was for the most deep, serious of reasons or a completely fleeting one, whether it was when you were on the last bus home and just had to get that one thought out, whether you were at work and you should have been working, but you had to write that thing down, or whether it was just, a message to a loved one. Or maybe you had a private Tumblr account and had some... Yes. Thank you for joining me from the forums, everybody. I do appreciate that. All right, this is for you. For the poets. For all of you fleeting moment capturers who enrapture us. I've written this for the rhyme flingers and the word slingers, for the pens and microphones gripped in between fingers. For the barrier breakers who showed anyone and everyone that this could in fact be done. I've written this for those public communicators of all of your private struggles, for the lives that are reborn from rubble, for the poets out there writing their way out of trouble, and for every poem written that aids a resurrection or sparks an insurrection, every poet that challenges your conventions. I've written this for every single witty epithet that doubles as a reactionary couplet. All of those poets just surprised by what the hell it is they have created. For the ones who make all of this look uncomplicated. For the secret journals kept hidden. For every instrumental or internal beat ridden. Every writer reaching for knowledge forgotten or forbidden. On every stage and page graced with a verse that did not want, but damn it needed to be written. And so I've written this for every seasoned sage, every first timer faced with whatever it means to dare to call yourself the most lofty of things, a writer. For every fabled poet out there spinning fables, every identity shunning easy labels, every poem in every language under Babel, and for all of the poets who write for us when we are sick, ill, tired or unable. And for the poets who write just to keep themselves stable. For the poets everywhere and the poetry that got them there, this is for all of you, the poets.
Oh yeah! We have one more poet to introduce you to. He is one of my favorite performers in the scene. I think he's one of everyone's favorite performers in the scene. I caught his show today. It was absolutely incredible. I know you're going to love him. I'm going to waste no more time. Please go absolutely wild for the one, the only, Harry Baker!
Thank you so much. This poem is called An A to Z of Time and Space. I wanted to use alliteration, but I wanted to try and do the whole alphabet. And as I started, I thought maybe I could map the history of the universe at the same time to keep it light. Bearing that in mind, could have chosen anything in the universe. The thing I went for the letter P is a pepperami. That is because was reading the ingredients during my thriving social life. And does anybody know, would anybody like to guess what the percentage of pork is in a pepperami? 40. The correct answer is 108%. For every 100 grams of pepperami, 108 grams of pork are going into it. It's lost weight during the process. As a mathematician, very frustrating. As a vegetarian, incredibly worrying. But as a poet, what a metaphor. They say, give 110%, and pepperami are leading the charge. So that's why P is in it. We're going to ask for your help. When I point to you, can you say the letter A? Then I'll point to you again. Next letter, spoiler alert, it's B. And we'll just see how far we get. First there was nothing. I'm talking nothing but nothing, then there was something. In amongst that nothing was something. And some things somehow split into some things, and some things even managed to become things. So take Adam. Adam was added up out of atoms. Before that, it was black and barren, then it became big and banging. Out of the chaos came countless crazy complex patterns, and then dun dun dun, dinosaurs happened. Through evolution, everything's edited every day. That's how we fine-tune, finesse, and then finally find our way. Just as the galaxies had gotten to gear, the game changed because hip hip hooray, Homo sapiens came. We invent, imagine, inspire, and innovate. We've journeyed from jamming in caves to jamming jam in a cake. That knack for knowledge knitted and knotted away like silent Ks. We learn the language of living, often a little late. We make music. We maneuver mathematical methods. We've noticed and noted the nodes of our own neural networks, overflowing, outpouring, open mics to operatics. We are the pork percentage purported in pepperoni packets. Because we question, from quick quizzes to quantum quarks, revolutions of the heart to renaissances of art, you see. Scriptures and science seek signs of the sublime. Meanwhile, through trees trickles the entirety of time. Our universe is unfinished but utterly underway. Its vibrancy vibrates via ventricles, valves, and veins. We wonder and we wonder. We explore and we explain. We yearn for what is yonder. We zoom out into space. We can forget that we were not the first to be here. By any stretch, we will not be the last to leave. And whilst we can't control our history or know our distant future, we can make the most of what might lie between. We can be kind, and we can accept the kindness of others. The world shows us what we allow ourselves the time to discover. We can listen, truly listen to another person's needs. Not just wait until they've stopped talking to take our turn to speak. We can be brave enough to try and make all kinds of mistakes. We can be playful, because what is a life without play? We can remind ourselves each day it's not too late for new beginnings when a single moment can hold the whole universe within it. Because when we zoom out, we realize how small it becomes. It's either none of this matters or all of it does. From atoms, Big Bang, chaos, dinosaurs, evolution. The fine-tuning of the galaxies to humans. Imagine that journey of knowledge through language and music notes overflow with the poetry of quantum revolution. As the sublime trickles through the universe's veins, we wonder, explore, yearn, and zoom out once again. Because when we zoom out, we realize how small it becomes. It's either none of it matters or all of it does.
That is one hell of a lineup. A genius must have booked this show. Guys, those are our poets, but them introducing themselves, no fun. They get to plan that. So we like to throw something a bit random at them. We are going to play Poetry Jukebox. Thank you, front row. We get all of our poets up on the stage in front of the screen. Our wonderful techie in the booth is going to throw up some random words that are going to be a prompt that the poets will then have to crowbar a poem into the theme of. Everyone follow? Yes. Good, great, thank you. The back has no idea what's happening. I don't know if they're just shy or fucking terrified. You all right in the back? One guy is. Good. Thank you. Give a big round of applause to all of our poets! Poets, are you ready? Yes. This is going to go great. Audience, are you ready? Yes. That's what I'm talking about. Roddy, can we have the first category, please? Fire. Great start.
Fire is kind of short and red, just like a red dwarf, which is the show that Craig Charles was in. But what I know him for is presenting Robot Wars, which features the robot Matilda, which was a book written by Roald Dahl featuring Bruce Bogtrotter. And what also features Bruce Bogtrotter is this poem. Seamless!
I'm not even mad, Harry. I'm impressed.
It's not the flowers, it's the weeding in the mud with you. It's not the champagne, it's that cuppa in that favourite mug you use. It's not the chocolate. Okay, yes it is, but not just one or two. It is becoming Bruce Bogtrotter and Augustus Gloop. It's voting frozen pizza over fancy grub with you. Because some nights nothing can beat a slice of comfort food. It's knowing anything I eat will include some for you. Because you're not hungry, but you might just have a couple spoons. It's not the dreaming, it's the waking up with you. I want to be here long enough to gather dust with you. It's us agreeing that romantic baths need bubbles too. Yet now I see maybe the snorkel was too much for you. And yes, the submarine and rubber duck came out a touch too soon, and yet the fundamental truth is I have fun with you. It's watching crappy films because that's what you want to do. Then on the nights you're gone, finding I want to watch them too. It's knowing if it came to it and I had option to, I would not change a single thing of what I've got with you. It's not the dreaming, it's the waking up with you. I want to be here long enough to gather dust with you. For us, love isn't in the air that is just where we found it, or this is built upon what we have done to ground it. It's not the spark when we first met, it is the lifetime built around it. It's by small amounts that mounds amount to mountains. I need not justify, adjust, or fit, I'm judged by you. Such is the glorious consistency of loving you. My heart's not skipped a beat, it just constantly thuds for you. Such is the everyday magnificence of loving you. It's not something we fell into so much as stumbled through. It's the spectacular normality of loving you. It's not the dreaming, it's the waking up with you. I want to be here long enough to gather dust.
Nicely done, Harry. Bravo, bravo. Can we have another category, please, Roddy? Learning.
Oh, this is a fancy mic stand. Whoa. Ah, thank you. Learning, it's very, very tenuous. This is called decade. In 10 years' time, not much will have changed. I will still stand on my tiptoes when I meet new people. One of my ears will still be bigger than the other. I will be creakier and blinder. Hopefully with more laughter lines than worry lines. I will be better at being on my own. 10 years wiser than now, with more stories to tell. I hope that I will still have the ones I love, old drifts put to bed, content and happy with the choices I've made. I will still be clumsy, I will still be forgetful, still as loud, still stomping around. My eyes will still be blue, I hope my heart is still big. I hope I will still be ridiculous, I hope. Perhaps I won't be as pale. Maybe I will have had some sunshine. Thank you.
Wonderful stuff, Jenny. You say that's tenuous, but after Harry, I don't think anything is tenuous. Can we have one final category, please, Roddy? Sleep.
It is actually relevant, to be honest. I don't have to do it. Yes, I will take that applause. It's almost like I planned it. This piece is called "Once I Get Out of Bed," and I wrote it for a person that I love during a difficult time in both of our lives. It was after both of us ended up at the hands of Her Majesty's Police Force. But I wrote this piece and I shared it with her afterwards. All right. This is called "Once I Get Out of Bed." I will draw the day deep, be at peace with the world, ambling arm in arm with my love, living our best lives, strolling around museums and galleries, camping in fields at Glastonbury, rambling through the tucked folds of metropoles, booking corner tables at rooftop restaurants and basement bars. We will share picturesque meals. We will speak of everything earnestly. We will kiss like kids skipping school before striding out onto the street, floating our way home and waiting up for the dawn chorus of fists banging at the door. of shriveling eyes and revving tongues, reading glazed eyes sunk into cropped faces hidden behind dirty visors and frosted glass. And all of a sudden we're begging in a single scorched voice, screeching holes out of the house. We are puckered into a corner, dying with the light of the morning. I pray in the street nightly ever since, burning memories and dreams into the pavement. I kneel with chalk and torch to talk of joys that burnt me alive in their living. Thank you.
We give a round of applause for all of our poets! Fantastic stuff. We have seen our poets introduce themselves. We've seen how they react under pressure, and we are soon to see the giggling that gives a lot away. And we will soon see their feature sets. But I'm going to give them a little moment to collect themselves while I tell you about their wonderful books. Yeah, I'm glad you're excited. Because they're all available upstairs at the merch table. Applause for the merch table. You're the best front row ever. Please do go and check out the merch table. Like I said, all of our poets have books. Poets be a hungry people. So, you support poets directly by buying their merch. We also have flyers, not only for the shows of folk that are on this bill. I think it's just Harry that has a show. But for all the poets throughout the month that have shows that we're featuring, we're putting all the flyers out. So grab some spoken word flyers and go and catch more spoken word. Especially the PBH Free Fringe, who do a huge amount for poetry and spoken word, and all the shows are free, so double good. Please do go and check all of that out. If you're looking to find spoken word wherever you are in the UK, then sign up to the mailing list. We do sort of big blasts about all the spoken word events and things like that going on, and I am much more coherent in email form, so jump on that. But for now, we roll on to our feature sets. Are you guys up for some feature sets? Fantastic, then please, feature sets, please help me welcome back to the stage the amazing Jenny Foulds!
Hello. I love doing that, wow. Nice to see you all. I actually can't see you, I'm lying. Oh, there you are. Hi, everyone. I'm going to do 3 short ones and 2 longer ones. The first one I'm going to do is about a snail that I saw in my garden. And it's called Snail. Full of the great ideas. I saw a snail moving his house today along a slippery path to some new scenery. I imagine him on a houseboat, some shonky shell-shaped ship. She would be called Michelle. He would wave his eye tentacles at the other snails on other ships floating by, feeling bad for the slugs waving back on the riverbank, eyes on stalks, wearing tiny slug-sized sunglasses in the sunshine, avoiding salt. Thank you. The next one I'm going to do is about best friends and ecstasy. It's called Silly Glasses and Pirate Ships. This is for anyone who's got a best friend who likes raving. Okay. You look like you've been on a paper round. Sorry, what? You look like you've been on a paper round. I look around and I look down and I laugh and see as my brown leather satchel hangs to the side of me. And I look up and there I see this cheeky looking guy who's trying to talk to me. Are you having nice drugs tonight? That question landed on my feet with a thud because I just wasted all my money on a pocket full of duds. But he gives me a side eye and a wry smile and his hand shoots out. And there in front of me is a pile of coloured Smarties. Not the ones with the tasty crispy shells, the ones they take at parties. So I take one and I flip it in the air and I catch it like a peanut and I throw some water down my throat thinking I'm cool as fuck and all that. I'm obviously lying. I'm not as cool as that. I spent 10 minutes gagging after biting it in half. Sexy drug taking with Jenny Foulds. A few hours later, with a big grin and wide eyes, my new friend invites me to a party. Much to my surprise, we chatted about some silly stuff for hours and hours on end, and then I gagged on more recreational drugs with my newfound raver friend. But it was just our luck. We were high as fuck, and I said to him, "You can be a primary school teacher." He said, "Why not?" I said, "Because your pupils are too big." And he stops and he looks at me and goes, what's your favourite book? And I stop and I say so surely without a second look, well, that's easy. It's The Melancholy Death of Oyster Boy by the genius that is Tim Burton. Side note, before the Burton got all rubbish. His face turns to a grin. Oh, I love that book, he says. So I get ready to recite and clear my throat out to impress. And then the genius that is Mr. Burton tumbles out of my mouth. One day in the park, I had quite a surprise. I met a girl who had many eyes. She was really quite pretty and also quite shocking. I noticed she had a mouth, so we ended up talking. We talked about her flowers and her poetry classes and the problem she'd have if she ever wore glasses. Oh, it's great to know a girl who has so many eyes, but you really get wet when she breaks down and cries. Fast forward 15 years. If this was a movie, there'd be some kind of shit 80s pop music of sorts. When I look back to where we've been and what we've done and what we've seen, it blows my fucking mind. Nights in, nights out, side-splitting, laughing and rolling about, blow up pirate ships with inflatable swords, making up ridiculous songs with lots of silly words, snowball fights on Islington Green with more snow than taken by Charlie Sheen, getting up in the air on cheap airfares and landing down on the ground. What fun could be found? Where would we go next? We didn't really care as long as we were both there. We were peas and pods. We were ridiculous sods. You see, we'd figured out we were a pair of 6-year-old best friends, willing each other into mischief to the very, very end. And there we are 3 feet tall, with massive dreams, but we're only small. We've got matching duffel coats with chocolate on our faces, with bruises and grazes on our knees and other bony places. You've got broken glasses and I've got frog faces on my wellies, and we both like eating fizzy cola bottles and ice cream and jelly. But in real life, we are not that small. I'm 5'5", you're 6 feet tall, but we're still the most ridiculous ones of them all. They tell us to grow up and they shout, stay small! You made me feel mighty. You made me feel brave. You made me believe that I could be the things I crave, because you are the silly glasses that I wear, the pirate ships I sail, my laughter and my joy and madness, my hero if I fail. And who would have thunk that delivering that daily rag out of that all-important handmade brown leather satchel bag would have got us here? So, the moral of the story for everyone who's here to listen is, if you ever find yourself in a similar situation, my advice to you is this: deliver the newspapers, take the pills, go to the party and eat your fill, be the new best friend and bring new ones back. Because you never know. You just never know. You might just meet your Batman or your Robin or your Bonnie or your Clyde or your better half or your partner in crime, and they might just change your life forever. Disclaimer, there's also a chance you could meet a creepy weirdo who does absolutely nothing for your life, or in fact makes your life much worse than it was before, in which case please do not take the advice I've just imparted to you as literal. The end. Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to change the tone a little bit. I lost my dad last month on the 14th of July, and I wrote something about grief because it's kind of been following me around a bit. I'm not going to lie to you. So this is called My Grief. I had a dream last night that all the people who were feeling grief had it with them externally for everyone to see. The grief took the onus off the grieved to tell the onlookers so they wouldn't have to sit in silence or say the words which would make people not know what to say to them. My grief is curious. It's sitting quietly, watching in the deafening silence. My grief walks beside me everywhere I go. It's perched on my pillow, waiting for me to wake up every morning. It spoons me tightly as I drift off to sleep at night. Sometimes it holds my hand gently as we walk amongst the people on the street. Other times, it smothers me as I'm trying to have a conversation with my friends. We don't know each other well yet. It's only been 32 days, 16 hours and 27 minutes since we met. I have a feeling it's going to grow up fast. I hope we can stay close, even when it gets ugly. Thank you. This next one is about coming out of lockdown. There was a moment of like, things were shit and then they stopped being so shit anymore. So this is called Hope. Okay. It started as a murmur. And far in the distance, they could feel a stampede heading in their direction. They don't even know it yet, but this unmistakable force hurtling towards them is hope. Rushing through the dark, dank and dusty landscape, pushing past this desolate destruction, galloping towards them fast and furious. They have reached the bottom and now the only way is up. And this hope starts to awaken, flickering inside of them, igniting one by one, whispering. which starts to stoke the fire faster, the whisper turning into chatter, the chatter turning into inspiring conversation, and this hope rumbles on from person to person. There is no stopping it now. Rushing from cities through villages and towns, this hope has become a chorus of joy and glorious technicolor, laughing and drinking, dancing and singing, outpouring love, creative thinking. The salty sea air in your face and the sound of muffled beats beating from the beach bars that are open and full of people. Happiness found in a field, festivals for days, and we will all be together in the after haze. Going to the cinema to eat your body weight in popcorn, flip down seats that ask for your no feet up on them. The lights are dimmed, time is suspended. The rustling sound of bags of sweets and being shushed by the old lady sitting in the front seats. A party with all your favourite people in one room, reminiscing and talking of all the missing when that song that everybody knows the words to drops. Sweet dreams are made of this. There are hands in the air and twirling round, all your friends singing at the tops of their voices is the most perfect sound. Arms around necks and swaying, busting out dance moves to the music's playing, propping up the bar with cocktails and dreams, finishing each other's sentences to get the punchline in. Jack and Nori's story time with everybody listening and joining in. I will never take this for granted ever again. The gratitude that will stay with us. This is paradise. The ordinary never felt so good. Thank you. I'm going to do one little short one. Is that right? Thank you. Thank you very much. Woo! Thank you. This is the last one. I have written a collection that it's yet to be published, but it is called Beats and Birdsong, and this is the closing poem of the collection. It's called Beats and Birdsong. With the night's memories still scattered in our eyes, we saunter with linked arms and traveller beers, remembering the sticky floors and expensive drinks, feeling quite old but with no regrets. The streets are quiet, all but beats and birdsong, after parties kicking on and the sound of starlings welcoming the morning with at least a little bit of sleep. I'm at the wrong end of the party train. No one wants to be the oldest swinger on there. But it's hard to say goodbye to such a loyal companion. Okay, pal, I say, maybe one more time. These moments have been my friend for so very long, forever finding joy in the beats and birdsong. Thank you, everyone. I've been Jenny Foulds. Thank you.
Give it up for Jenny Foulds! And keep that applause going. Keep building it up as we welcome back to the stage the man, the myth, the legend, the repeat beat poet!
Whenever I do LP, whenever I do Loud Poets, I always have to remind myself I'm actually part of the show as opposed to just on the side watching the show. I always have a great time, so thank you. Fantastic poems, Jenny. So with the next 10 minutes, I am going to perform a small series of poems, a suite, if you will. And this is an anti-imperial suite. One of the many things that I pride myself on is being an ardent anti-imperialist. I think that the British Empire is one of the biggest criminal organisations that has ever existed or will ever exist. Yeah, there you go. I actually once, this is something that I hadn't planned to share, but this is good context. I once lost a bit of work through a royal chartered organisation because I made the following joke on Twitter. And don't get me wrong, it's a fantastic joke, but I made this joke. If the Queen thinks empire is such a good idea, with her heavy, heavy crown, she should nod when somebody asks her if she thinks the empire is a good idea. The joke, therefore, being, the Queen is so old and the crown is so heavy that it would break her neck if she nodded. I wouldn't nod, that's all I'm saying. No. This piece is called Desecrated. This asks us to reconsider who is forgotten and fed to this giant machine of empire. When Christ the Redeemer descends on Deptford High Street, only the rain will fall to wash his feet. The kids will have already grown tired and weary of waiting. When the Prince of Peace has finished his late shift, the bus driver will miss him, slumped against the bus shelter with 3 hours before his next early start. The Godhead made flesh again on Dalston Lane will break in private gardens. The patrols around Gethsemane felt the same. His holiness, his glorious name, will sing no song on the banks of the Thames. He will gag on London's waste at Beckton, next to the sewage treatment plants. He will choke at City Airport underneath the aeroplanes, and he will cackle at futility through the fumes. And after following the River Lee all the way up to Tottenham, Yahweh will face match day and divided loyalties. The Lord Creator himself will be run out of the Barking, Brent and Brixton town halls after there was a council assessment that found him to be fit for work but culturally incompatible. I believe that God will be judged in a trial held on the Tube and sentenced to penance sweeping the halls of St. Paul's. They say cleanliness is next to godliness, and I think God has reconsidered what to polish, what to purify, and what to let burn. This is another piece which I thought was incredibly funny, but you know, it goes down in different rooms in different ways. So I mean, imagine that I'm essentially on a cable TV show and I'm trying to sell you the idea of the British dream. Do you remember about 2017 when Theresa May, God rest her soul, was giving a speech? When Theresa May was giving a speech at a party conference, there were letters falling down behind her. Somebody handed her a P45. She choked. Honestly, it was the most farcical conference speech there ever has been. But in the middle of it was something actually quite insidious, which is this idea of the British dream, which is essentially the idea that all of the wealth in the country gets funneled up to the people who already have wealth and everybody else basically starves, right? And I think that it would be quite a hard idea to sell until I thought, let's just make a poem out of it. So, this is a step-by-step guide to saving the British dream. First, remove all chocolate. Leave only one single legally approved all-white dream bar. Separate the blood and sweat of children from those famed satanic mills. Overlook industrialized people trafficking while cheering for the commonwealth. Fumigate the haunted Houses of Parliament and the dusty halls of Westminster. Flush out muddy complexity like dirt in the workings of your white goods. Brush away inconvenient brownness, staining sea to blood-soaked sea. Sanitize histories with doctored textbooks and stolen traditions. Painstakingly apply PVA glue to cracks in the floor while tectonic plates shift. Bury the black spots under thick coats of white powder and white noise. Exfoliate in a panicked frenzy, cauterize festering wounds, wipe clean the white conscience. Never look back, never look in. Let a white Jesus forgive you all your sins. And please, God, save the British dream. I thank you. Okay. This is okay. I'm going to read this I'm going to read this quick one, and then I'm going to read a short one. This one is a poem which essentially looks at what happened after the massive shrinking of the British Army, Navy, and Air Force after World War II and the period of decolonization, like 50s, 60s, 70s. All of these people with an incredibly short skill set, a very defined skill set, thinking, what should they do? A lot of them went into mercenary work, security work. This piece is called Tommy Builds a Cocktail. I'm going to read this, I'm going to read a short one, and then that'll be me done. This is Tommy Builds a Cocktail. The man spied a sun-dried palm tree in an untouched garden, crusty dark skin and cracks riddling. All along its side, weeping out of its shell, he aimed for a branch, poof, and down a coconut fell. It didn't implode on impact or split in his grip. No, he had to kick it along the cobblestone path, drag the shell across a pebble-dashed wall, hook up a jet-powered sandblaster. Even a parade of lawnmowers doing wheelies couldn't shred it. And after the stalemate, Tommy retrained as a mercenary. Infiltration, demolition, counterinsurgency, and he busted the shell wide open with a perfect salute. He chopped lime with a ceremonial sword, mixed barrel-aged rum with mashed mint in a Boston glass, sliced pineapples and sprinkled 4 sugar-heaped spoonfuls on top, throttled it together before straining out any not quite pulverized pulp. Tommy piled the crushed ice on from the fridge dispenser, raked the evidence behind the second shed, and added red rose petals from the planter on the roadside of the main drive to garnish, and took a big old swig. All right, thank you very much. This next piece goes out to everybody working too hard in this here dunya, too hard in this here world. This is called Can't Stop, Won't Stop. I wrote it while working at a cinema. Everybody, shouts out everybody who's ever done their time in hospitality or retail. You know what I'm talking about. All right. Yes. Let's go. Let's get it. Gotta move. Gotta stack that paper. Gotta make that cheddar. Gotta chase that bag. Gotta get that bank. Because cash rules everything around me, so bow down to the pound. Don't stop. Gotta hustle, gotta juggle, gotta tightrope walk, more work, less talk. And you better get yours, cause I'ma get mine. Best believe I'll be fine when I dead off this 9 to 9. I'm doing 8 days a week at the standard grind, grinding out shifts, grinding coffee for the pricks. Sir. Thank you. Can I get a skinny, wet, almond, decaf, double flat white with a cinnamon twist? Look, mate, if you insist. But don't push me. I'm close to the edge. Whatever the weather, whatever the method, it's all on my effort not to. You see, I'm doing 10 toes and a grindstone never left my nose. In the city where you can't stop. Can't breathe. No justice, no peace, no sobriety, no release. Sleep no more, for this world hath murdered sleep. So we kick back, roll spliff, take a load off, get licked. Before the bliss slips to guilt trip, a quick blip, a rip in time, and back to the grind. I gotta make it and I can't stop, because when I'm there with my sweetheart, that could have been really bad. I've knocked over so many drinks doing performances, no. Too relaxed. So we kick back, roll spliff, take a load off, get licked. Before bliss slips to guilt trip, a quick blip, a rip in time. I'm back to the grind. I gotta make it and I can't stop, because when I'm there with my sweet hard-earned freedom filling the air, sniffing the glory of the feast I worked years to ensnare, I will sit still and I will wait for all of the others and our rest. Thank you very much, everybody. Solidarity with the strikers as well.
The repeat poet! Available for kids' birthday parties wherever you are. Guys, we have come to our final act, which means we have one final act! There is a tradition of the way we introduce our final acts here at Loud Poets with a little thing we like to call the Loud Rumble. Get it going. First row, no. They're already on it. Build it up all the way. Join in, back row. I can see you. Everyone get it going. Hands on lap. Build it up louder. Bring the hands together. Start clapping. Go absolutely fucking wild for Harry Baker!
When this is over, I will hold you closer than you've ever known. When you see me, you can squeeze me till you feel my very bones. How I long to let you know that I won't want to let you go. There will be so much left to say, yet still some things are better shown. I will wrap my arms around you for the seconds we have lost. Our words will find a way to wait as we locate the weight of us. Though we are changed, There stays a sense of same about the way we touch, though it is strange. We will embrace how long it takes us to adjust. The world of everything we knew is somewhere we cannot return. The world of everything that's new is one we'll build from what we've learned. We'd never know ashes could rise again until we'd seen them burn. And the next time I'm stood in front of you, will feel like it's been earned. Because when the start has given way, it's only then the end can enter. When the heart is given space, it will forever tend to tender. These affections kept at bay can once again descend to center. Something will have come to yearn as hummingbirds connect to nectar. For all those overwhelming moments where I felt like giving up. There is no point where I was worried we'd forgotten how to love. And when the future's all we've got, well then that's got to be enough. All that I know is when I'm low that I have wanted to be hugged. And if you'd rather have a handshake, that is absolutely fine. Even a wave from me is saying I am glad that you're alive. Whichever form it takes, when this has passed and we've started again, I will no longer take for granted any chances to connect. I found myself using the phrase "when this is over" sort of almost on a daily basis for the past few years, and it's a strange thing. There's not going to be a moment when things are just over, and everyone kind of is processing things at a different point. And that was no more apparent to me than when in sort of November, December last year, I was lucky enough to come and do a gig here as part of my tour. And what I do once a tour, and no more than once a tour, is get a megabus. And the megabus home from Edinburgh down to London just in time to get the sort of train to Margate, because why? And got on the megabus in Edinburgh and everyone had to wear masks. And then as soon as we crossed to the English border, masks were optional because the air is purer there at Mo. Absolutely ridiculous. So I'm happy to be here where people respect each other. For me, that is what this is, chances to connect. I love this. I've missed this so much. I went to a wedding a couple of weeks ago. Again, something that had been postponed time and time again. And the person sort of officiating had asked the bride and the groom separately what their definition of happiness is. And the groom had said his definition of happiness was being 100% present in the moment. And for me, that is what events like tonight are. And I'm so, so happy to be here. And I can tell you from the experience from the past 3 years, it is a lot more enjoyable with other people in the room. So thank you for being a part of that. Thank you for supporting poetry, going to live stuff. I hope you get to see loads of amazing stuff, however long you are here. This next poem is about wellies. I love wellies. That is a statement of fact. Footwear designed for making a splash. No need for showing off status or cash, no laces or faff, just I like big boots and I cannot lie, these babies got back. On first glance, as basic as paying your tax, yet that's still more outrageous than Bezos can hack. They are sensible, functional, playful and fab. Put them up against tennis shoes, it's game, set and match. They just do what they do. They're not concerned with self-importance. They're all soul and no tongue. The opposite of Piers Morgan. They are built for the outdoors. The opposite of Piers Morgan. They're not about to fall apart at any given moment. From farmers through to festivals, so grand is their appeal, the only footwear guaranteed to be outstanding in its field. While veteran shoemakers may disagree, I think it's worth a mention. It's just a load of old cobblers. So pay them no attention. You could be winging it or wanging it, the welly is the one. If you've got booties on your footies, chances are you're having fun. They are a statement piece. That statement is, I don't want soggy feet. Beyond that, they can be anything that you want them to be. So to my godson, who's got some all covered in dinosaurs, or my niece who underneath her knees has nothing but unicorns. As you grow older and the world begins to open up to you, you might expect that is reflected in your choice of welly boots. Well, for the ladies, if you're maybe looking for a fun design, I have seen bumblebees or daisies or some multicolored stripes. And for the fellas, if you want to make your mark upon the scene, the options are a fetching black or an incredibly dark green. Because what could be more masculine than blending in with dirt? Like, if you don't see me, you might not see I'm filled with pain and hurt. And if you don't conform to gender norms or simply try ignore them, if you're anything above size 6, you're destined to be boring. Because if they're just going to get muddy, what's the point of even trying? Why have dreams when just like us, they're only going to end up dying? If you never dip your toe in, then there's no concern with drying. Who needs waterproofs if you can simply stop yourself from crying? I mean, God forbid that one might have a form of self-expression. Nah, why not blend in instead with 1 in 8 that have depression? Why be happy when you could be a statistic or a lesson? Why do anything ever if it starts to make you question? If we protect ourselves from all those risky things emotions do, it can be easy to forget that joy is an emotion too. So is heartbreak, so is grief, so is happiness and rage, so is the whole spectrum that we miss out on if we don't engage. And I am angry. And I've tried so very hard to keep it in. And I am lonely. And I've tried so very hard to keep it in, and I am tired, and I've tried so very hard to keep it in, but we are not wellies made with an impermeable skin. You see, it didn't do me good. Stood in a field of deepest green, when it's a basic human need to simply feel like you've been seen. And so even if the world insists it's safer to be duller, I'd rather take the risk and live life playfully in colour. Sure enough, last Christmas morning, sitting underneath the tree, a pair of size 10 welly boots as bright and yellow as can be. They bring a whole new meaning to saving up for a rainy day, because even if the skies are grey, I'll walk on sunshine either way. And if it's messy, or it's muddy, or I don't know where to begin, I'd still rather be out in the rain than trying to rein it in. And if I ever go on Dragon's Den, this poem is my pitch. But until then, next time you'll see me, as I'm crawling out that ditch. Thank you so much. I love this and I love you. My last poem is called Unashamed, and it's also the name of the show that I'm doing, and I'm also thrilled to announce it's the name of my new book. And the book officially comes out in October, but I got some copies, so it's coming out now. So if you want one, I'll have them. If you don't, that's fine. But for me, as a teenager, there was so much expectation or pressure on this idea of fitting in. And more recently, I've got excited about the idea of filling out. And being the best version of yourself that you can be. And for me, the thing that enables me to do that is having people in my life who want to uplift me and who encourage me. And I think when you find people like that in your life, listen to them. And if you can be that person to someone else, that is what will ultimately get us through all of this. So this is dedicated to my friend Sam, who similarly to me, when lockdown hit, his whole world shrunk. And he said to me he felt like he had to edit himself to feel like he was being accepted by people. And if that's ever been you, this is for you. It's not your job to make sure others feel more comfortable. You need not dull your glow in the hope they might see. You need not water down your core to be more palatable. May you be the you that you need you to be, unashamed. We cannot help how others see us, though we may well try our hardest. How we see ourselves can free ourselves to be ourselves regardless. Home is where you can be open-hearted. Whether trapped or trapeze artist, all comes down to how we're harnessed. I'm trying to free my roots. Like playing past the parcel packed with parsnips. When the music stops and no one's watching, will you keep on dancing? Let us decorate and garnish any reputations tarnished, because despite it all, I still fancy our chances. Let us not file away our edges in an effort to be smooth. When the records show the dents of how we get into that groove, all the energy invested in the editing of you, I hope one day you'll let it loose and let me be there when you do. Because in that moment when your guard slipped for a second or two, I could have sworn I caught a glimpse and I saw heaven in you. Unashamed. The only time I'll know if you've lost weight is shedding expectations. Unless you're senator or Ghana, there's no point adopting layers when the heart of you is the part of you that's blazing. And others may have tried to hide your light. You may have joined in this yourself. But joy of joys, the joy of joy is it shall not be overwhelmed. You could be static, or your static could cause lightning storms. Whether it's lions or it's iron, or your core contains all types of raw, that friction that you feel, that's an igniting force. So light the torch. If we can't see it in ourselves, then what is brightness for? We do those closest to us a disservice if we only ever let them see the small of us. If we can open up enough to let them get beneath the surface, there's so much more to love if we can show them all of us. The flaws in us, the force of us, the full-on awe of us, the rise and fall of us, the wise and fall in us, yes, all of us, the fine and coarse of us. The fine print in the claws of us, the fire imprinted in our blood cells as they course in us, it's all in us. The times regrets have haunted us, the second thoughts that torture us, the lessons taught to us, the tightrope life kept taught for us, it's all for us, so call it what you want, there's something calling us. And I have caught enough of you to know that you're enough. So any boxes they may try and stop you with, instead of building up a fort, let's make a rocket ship. Treat them as photos, not negatives developed into positives, but nothing more than simply a snapshot of things. Because all the best bits of your story are still yet to be unfurled. You are the caterpillar, that becomes the butterfly that flaps its wings to cause an earthquake halfway around the world. You are amazing. And if they try to rain on your parade, let it remind you how much fun it is to party while it's raining. May you take up space and stay there, unashamed. Thank you so much.
Harry Baker! Oh! Guys, that has brought us to the end of an incredible show. Thank you so much for coming along. Just before I let you shoot off, I do just want to mention a couple of things really quickly. We have all of the social media, Twitter and Facebook and all the other ones. You know them. You people do them. So please jump on there, give us a tweet or a mention, a shout out if you enjoyed the show. But for now, all I would like to do is get a big, big round of applause for our wonderful techie in the booth, Roddy! For all of the staff here at the Storytelling Centre. And one huge round of applause for all of our poets. This has been Loud Poets. I have been Kevin McLean. You've been fucking awesome. We'll see you again. Good night. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, we'd appreciate it if you could hit the like button, if you could hit the subscribe button, and make sure to ring that bell icon so you don't miss any updates from us in the future. If you want to go that extra mile and support us a little further, we do have a Patreon channel with loads of exclusive goodies, and you can sign up for as little as $1 a month. We appreciate your help, guys, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.